I got a big video for you guys today. I'm starting a new fire movement and it's called Island Fire. You know, they keep inventing these new fire movements, Barista FIRE, Coast Fire, Lean Fire. They do that because actually reaching financial independence and retiring early is hard. Here's a secret for you. It's hard. Not everybody can do it. What I did, I went all the way to the other end of the lean fire spectrum and I retired on a Caribbean island at 45. So I also say, don't retire early, find recreational employment. So I like to call the fire movement financial independence, recreational employment, because I do have a job on my Caribbean island. I sell real estate. I do these YouTube videos. I do a couple things because at 45, I was too young to just sit on the beach every day, even though I have the most beautiful beaches in the planet right outside my door. I actually wanted to film this video out there, but in the Caribbean, we have what's called the Christmas winds that come through the Caribbean every year around Christmas time. So it's too noisy out there to film outside. So I went with the deep blue and the lights back here for the background. And today in the video, I'm going to tell you how I retired at 45, how I reached financial independence, what a kind of recreational employment I found. And I'm even going to go into my budget and how much it cost me to live on this Caribbean island. So if any of those things are interesting to you, get ready because we're going to get into it right now.
Shut up and sit down.
My intro went a little bit long there. Sorry about that. But let's just get right into it. I'm going to start with how I actually achieved financial independence and how I was able to choose to work or not to work by the age of 45. Actually, I'll back up a little bit. I went broke in 2008 when the market crashed. I lost everything. Bank foreclosed on 3 of my houses. So I'm not somebody that started with a silver spoon in my mouth. I actually did it once, lost everything, and then had to start from negative. Like I had $1.2 million in debt when the bank took all my crap from me. So I've done this twice now, so I'm getting pretty good at it. Hopefully I don't have to do it again, knock on wood. But what I did, I bought real estate. I bought one house every year, and that allowed me to reach financial independence. I think it's the fastest way to do it. I think it's the easiest way to do it. I think you can do it on middle income. I don't know, low income maybe. I don't know. It depends on how good you are at saving and scrimping in the beginning. But I bought I didn't buy the biggest house I could afford for my first house. I bought the smallest house I could live in comfortably. I bought like an 800 square foot house at the beach in Florida, and our mortgage payment was only around $600 a month. And that allowed me and my wife to save money so that we could buy the next house. For our second house, we bought a duplex. And in the duplex, one side of the duplex paid the mortgage of the duplex, and the other side of the duplex paid the mortgage of the house we were living in. And actually, maybe like $100 extra in our pockets at the end of the day. So after our second house, we had our living expenses covered. So we're living for free, and that allowed us to save even faster to buy house number 3. And that's what we did. We bought another house in the 3rd year, and we turned that one into a vacation rental, and it did really well. And then actually the neighbor decided to sell his house. It's a long story. I've actually got another video about it. I'll link to it up here. But the neighbor decided to sell his house, and we bought the next door neighbor's house. They're 2 townhouses right next door to each other. And house number 4, we also turned into a short-term rental. And those two, house number 3 covered all of our expenses. House number 4 put us well into profit territory. So then we bought one more house. We bought house number 5. It was a bigger house. We were saving more money faster because all of this money kept on top of our salaries. And now we're making money off of the houses. So when we bought house 5, we bought a bigger house with a swimming pool. I'll put a picture of it here. I call it the Tiki House. And that put us well over the financial independence threshold and put us into big profit territory. And that made it so that we could move to a Caribbean island. I quit my job, and that's how we did it. That's a really quick and dirty story of how we did it. But that is the simple path to reaching financial independence through real estate. You know, when you do it this way, when you buy your first house, you could put like 3% down, get an FHA loan, move into that house. You could move out of that house and then move into the second house and put as little as 3% down on the second house as well. We ended up not doing it that way. And you have to be careful if you do it that way, because that's how I went broke the first time around, was I didn't have enough equity in my properties. So, because I was back in those days, you could do 100% finance, and I was buying investment properties with no money down, without proving my income, like on a no income, no asset, no job type of a loan. So it was way easier to get money back then. And that is ultimately what made me go broke. So if you learn from that lesson, try to get some equity built up in your property. So maybe buy your first or second house with little 3-5% down loans, but then try to save up bigger down payments as you go down. We started putting 20% down on each of our houses after the second one. And I hear you saying, yeah, but Jeff, you started in 2011 when prices were down here and now prices are up here. Okay, you know what they're gonna say 10 years from now? They're gonna say, man, you bought in 2021 or 2022. Gosh, I wish I would have started 10 years ago. The best time to buy real estate was yesterday, and the second best time is today. So don't make excuses. If the market crashes, who cares? Because if you're buying these as long-term investments and you got renters in there covering your mortgage, you'll be fine. The market will come back up. All the houses that the bank took from me in 2008, they're all worth double what I paid for them back in 2005. So the market will come back around. It may take time. That's why that equity comes in important. And you got to have emergency funds to cover mortgages in case something weird like a global pandemic comes around and people stop paying rent. So you got to be ready for that kind of stuff. Okay, that's my lecture part. It's over. But I want you guys to do it smart and I want you to do it the right way. Part 2 of this video, I told you I'd tell you what my budget looks like here in this Caribbean island and how much I'm making off of my rental properties. So I'll start with how I can live off of the income from 3 of my rental properties. I have the duplex, I have the 2 townhouses, I have my own house in Florida, then I have the tiki house, and then I bought a house in Puerto Rico. So technically I have 6 houses. One of them is a duplex. It has 2 doors. So I have 7 doors. And I can live off of the income of 3 of my houses. And that covers all of my expenses. That's my financial independence of this part of the FIRE equation. So I'm going to tell you how much I make off those 3 houses. And then I'll show you how much it costs for me to live in this spacious condo here in the Caribbean. I had to get this video done today. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. And my in-laws are coming. And so my palatial YouTube study is about to be turned into the guest bedroom. So I got to crank a couple videos out here before I lose my filming abilities. Okay, so let me break down some of the numbers for you guys who may be curious how the actual numbers look in my life. So in my duplex, I get about $1,200 rent from each side. That's $2,400 a month. And my mortgage is just about $1,000 a month. So that leaves $1,400 a month. 1,400 times 12 is about $16,800 net profit I get off of that house. Obviously, that's not including any maintenance or repairs I have to do on the house or any vacancy, that sort of thing. I've got enough reserves built up that I don't have to worry about those things anymore. So I'm not calculating those into the numbers. So for all you financial wizards out there, and I'm just using some rough numbers here to give you guys an idea what my numbers look like. So let's just call that $17,000 a year of income from the duplex. Then those 2 townhouses that I told you that I own that are right next door to each other, one of those netted out about $19,000 this year, and the one next door netted out about $25,000. So if you add all that up, that runs about $60,000 that I make off of those 3 properties that I have. That's not including any of the money that I get from the tiki house or from my house, which I have somebody renting a room in there just to kind of help cover the mortgage while we're here in the Caribbean, because maybe one day we'll move back there. Maybe we won't. We don't know. We don't know what we're going to do with our lives. But we wanted to keep our house because that's kind of like our forever house. So I'm back and forth there. I still have my real estate license in Florida. So I do go back to Florida and I do stay in that house when I go back. So I have like a roommate there. And it also doesn't take into consideration any money from our Puerto Rico house, because it's been under construction for 2 years. That's right. In February, my construction project will hit the 2-year mark. I thought that would take 4 months. I'm not going to get into that or cry anymore about that. But so I'm not counting any money from the Puerto Rico house either. And we also have a little bit of money in the stock market, and I'm not including any of that money either. So on those 3 houses, I make about 61 grand. Okay, Jeff, what do your expenses look like in this Caribbean island, you ask? Very good question. I'll move over here so I have room to put some numbers over here, and let me look at my note. Okay, like I mentioned, I live in a condo. I'm renting this condo. I'm sort of doing rental arbitrage because for me to buy a house here, the prices start about $800,000 for anything I would be interested in living in. So we're renting a condo. If we decide to stay here forever, we'll look at buying something. But for the past 2 years, we've been living in this condo. My rent is $2,500, and that includes all my utilities, my power, my water, my trash. I do pay for Wi-Fi, and I think that runs about $75 per month. Me and my wife both have cars, so our car insurance runs about $100 a month. And this island is small, so we don't drive very much. So I'd say we probably spend about $50 a month on gas for our cars. My wife has her health insurance covered through her job. She's a school teacher. And I'm not paying for my insurance, but I'm going to just throw in a number for one of us paying for insurance. And I'm going to say we pay $500 a month for our insurance. So that helps you think about the numbers. Our grocery bill runs us about $650 per month. Groceries are a little more expensive here than we anticipated. And I'm going to say we spend about $300 a month going out to dinner or going to grab drinks at happy hour or something like that. I threw in here that I spend about $50 on useless crap that I don't need on Amazon. We don't get free shipping here, so I really don't order very many things on Amazon, but I like to buy lights and things for this YouTube channel. So I'm just going to throw in a $50 useless crap budget. My wife pays about $50 for her cell phone. I have my cell phone covered through one of my kind of side gigs that I do, so I don't have to pay for that. And I put in that I spend $75 a month on my hobbies. I go sailing every Thursday and I play pickleball every Wednesday. So that's part of my sort of retired lifestyle. I sail once a week and I play pickleball once a week, and I try to, get the work fit around my schedule. And I had an entertainment budget on there, but then I crossed it off because I was like, we really don't go out. We don't go to movies. If we do anything, we go out, we go to happy hour. So I just included that in my bar restaurant budget. So that's it. That's pretty much what I spend every month. That is a total of $4,350, and $4,350 divided by 12 is $52,200. So it cost me 52 grand to live on this island, and my 3 houses we went over make 61,000, and my other 2 houses are just gravy on top of that I'm investing into the stock market. Before I give you my final thoughts and wrap this up, if you liked the video so far, hit that like button down there. It's free. It's almost Christmas. Do me that solid. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hey, why not subscribe to the channel and get more of this great content? So that's it, man. I mean, anybody can do this. It's not easy, but it's simple. Buy one house every year in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 9 years, however long it takes you, however much the houses cost, however much money you put down. You can get to where the houses will cover your expenses. I never put any money into stocks or bonds or any of that stuff while I was doing this. I just saved every penny to buy the next house. And I wondered if it was the right decision or not. But now that I live on a Caribbean island, I'm thinking it was probably a pretty good idea. You guys can do it too. Just follow my lead, buy one house every year, and find yourself an island fire.